how else, I don't know how, like he's doing us a favor. No, that we should expect that in our service, we need to know if the people who are serving us are qualified and how they became, and the qualifications that make them qualified. So I just thought that that was a powerful piece of your presentation. And so thank you. Comrade Haman, is this the one that you're playing?
Yes, it should be. Should I
Yes,
play?
play. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a slogan, creating the Uganda we want. We want to move from a heritage of war, of corruption, of bad stewardship, of hopelessness, of a bad economy, to a country where we espouse 5 values. We kind of said, so if we're creating the Uganda we want, what is that Uganda? And would like a Uganda where every leader in all the 7 mountains of influence espouses stewardship, work ethic, integrity, patriotism, like a love for our country, from feeling like we don't want to belong here anymore to just loving our country, and then servant leadership. And so our big dream is for us to permeate all these sectors and build a leadership. A legacy will pass on to our children and our grandchildren of a country we're all proud of. And we're getting there. We are one sector at a time.
Thank you, Comrade Haman. And I would like to thank everyone. That's a short presentation I had today. And I think questions will come later. I'll turn this to Comrade Grace, the moderator. Thank you, Comrade Haman.
Thank you, Comrade Nsereko, again for putting together such a wonderful, eye-opening or enhancing presentation. It does really fit in well with the theme that Uganda we deserve, and helping us understand how we can communicate those issues better. Comrade Haman, thank you for managing the technical aspect of this presentation. I would like us to keep moving on in the interest of time, and go into the panel discussions. As I indicated earlier, I've been working with other individuals. So the next session of the discussion is going to be managed by Comrade Peter Ekaro. And then we will have later on Ms. Rebecca Nava, who will manage the question and answer form with our panelists. But I also want to recognize our comrades that are in the back end or back office, technical aspects of streaming and getting all of us connected. So Mr. J.B. Mwonge, thank you for doing a great job. Ms. Doreen Kajumba, she's monitoring our YouTube now that we are also on Facebook Live. Mr. Ikakuru is also helping. So that is how we are set up. And it is a United Nations, as you can see. We are trying our level best to stay connected and provide good value and service to all of us, and so in the struggle. So I would like to hand this over to Mr. Ikakuru to manage the next program section. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Grace. I think I got the biggest honor actually to introduce the 2 most wonderful people. But just before I do that, I just wanted to pick up on Comrade Nsereko's presentation. And I think what really comes out to me is the issue of us and them, whereby at the moment, basically, the citizens are not involved in any planning of activity, planning of actions. Basically, they are consumers. They are not stakeholders, effectively. I can't say the Ugandans under this current government are stakeholders, because stakeholders, you have a right to input in what happens. At the moment, it's like everything comes from the top and boom, drops onto them, whether they like it or not. And it's with that pleasure that I would like to introduce our 2 deputy principals who, if I just outline what they're going to do, they will begin by introducing themselves. And I know we know them, but it would be nice to know a bit more about themselves. And we'll begin with Miss Jolie, and then we come to Dr. Zedriga. And what they're going to be doing to us again is telling us, basically updating us from what's happening in their regions, because yes, we know we work with them, we know things are happening, but it would just be nice to hear from the horse's mouth, this is what's happening, these are our challenges and so on. And then they'll go ahead actually to tell us, actually, to envisage the Uganda they see when NUP is in power. In fact, Comrade Serif has sort of given us the theory, but as I said, they are on the ground, they're in a very good position to say, actually, this is how this can be in practice. And this all that Comrade Serif say can then be put into context, and hopefully that will give us a lot of information. Particularly what we expect them to look at on today's program is the rule of law, actually. When NUP comes into power, I'm not saying if, I'm saying when NUP is in power, what actually we envisage in terms of the rule of the law, management of natural resources. Actually, I've heard now and again people refer to national resources as personal resources, which is absolutely shocking, because it doesn't matter whether you're a leader of a country, whatever is in this country is not yours, you're just a leader of that country. So it's quite shameful. The other bit is actually what I said at the beginning. How do we involve citizens in governance? Because I think one of the sad things that led to the failure of the governance in Uganda, actually, if I'm to be frank and honest, is the lack of citizenship involvement in the whole process. Because it's, as I say, they are consumers. It's like they don't really have an input in the product they're going to consume. It's like somebody makes a plastic, someone says, use that, it's good. So not to take a lot of time, I'm hoping that the panelists have listened and taken notes on what I've just been saying. If not, please come back to me. With that due, I introduce Dr. Jolly. Sorry, no, Dr. Linda will come second. Jolly first. Jolly, if you can come on now, please. Thank you. Jolly, you're muted at the moment. You're still muted. Can you unmute yourself? If you unmute yourself, please, Jolly. Thank you.
Okay. Should I say good morning, good afternoon, or good night? I don't know, but here it is good evening to everyone. I am glad to be here today and to be part of this celebration of the 58th year of independence of Uganda. I was born in 1962 when Uganda got her independence. So me, or Uganda, and I are age mates. I should actually be celebrating my birthday as well. And who am I? I am going to follow the guidelines that you have provided, because you say that we should briefly tell you about us. As I've already introduced myself, my name is Jole Mugisha. I am 58 years old. I'm an adult Ugandan. I hail from the western part of Uganda, and I am currently the deputy president of NUP in charge of Western region. And I love NUP as my political party. I love Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu as my president for the party. And I love many other members of NUP, and this beret, which I'm putting on, is my heartbeat. So that is who I am, and I am glad to be here with you today. I have been following on and off what has been discussed, and I want to inform you that back here in Uganda, what you have ably put across is what we are yearning for. It's what we are dying for. And if all of it could be unveiled and it becomes part and parcel of our daily lives here in Uganda, then life would be good. What is the good Uganda? What is the good Uganda? First of all, I want to concur with the theme or the title of the discussion. The Uganda we deserve. And I want to add that it should be the Uganda we want, because someone may deserve something and then it is not given. And from what I know, even from information back in the Bible, those days long time ago, power has never been given. Power is taken, power is grabbed, whether from a relative or a colleague or whoever, power is taken. And therefore, as Ugandans who want a better Uganda, we must be able to stand up and demand and take the power and have the Uganda we deserve. So what is that kind of Uganda that we deserve? If you come back here today, there is very, 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 very poor service delivery. I have told you that I was born those days long ago, so I have seen a series of governments. I grew up during Obote 1, then I became, slightly an adult during Amin's time, and of course from 1986, you can see I'm in my evening days. So I have had an opportunity to see all those governments, and I want to say that those days long ago, there were some good traits or programs or service delivery that was being done that this government has deliberately killed and has actually demonized so that the rest of Ugandans can believe that those were bad governments and therefore this one is the best. So we want to see a corruption-free country. There is a lot of corruption in Uganda, as you very well know. I used to live in a place called Nyabushozi, where the president comes from. Between 1986, when I left the university, between 1986 and 1990, you could hardly find a house that was iron roofed, even with mud and water, but iron roofed. But today, if you cross that place, everyone either has a gun, has the mategura. I'm sure you know what they call mategura, those mategura. Then these new roofing systems, everyone has a mansion. In some places, you'll find people with even airfields around their homes. So we want to see a Uganda that is corruption-free. I know you have been following what is happening in the media. You have seen money that has been collected for COVID. You have seen the vehicles that were collected for COVID from actually being forced out of donors. But you find that all that is being used for elections. We want a country where there is no nepotism. If you look at the most highly paying jobs in Uganda today, you'll find, I know you know that I'm from the West, but even within the West ourselves, we have, I don't want to call them cliques, but we have groups of people who are more people than others. So you'll find that nepotism is so high to an extent that even people who don't qualify to do certain jobs, to head certain institutions in the country, are given those jobs because of their link, either with the first family, the man, or the husband, And in fact, when you look around what is happening, especially in the past elections of NRM primaries, you'll find that the two forces, the force of the first lady and then the force of the man, the president, are conflicting, over who takes what. So they are grabbing each and everything. And all that breeds insecurity. There is a lot of insecurity. People are dying left and right. People are beaten, they are maimed, and I am sure you see all that in the mass media. So we want a Uganda where people are free, where people are empowered and to manage their own affairs and to participate in the development of this country. We are looking at income inequality. There is a lot of income inequality. If you look at the pay of the civil servants, I worked for this country for almost 22 years as a civil servant. But if you see a salary of a university graduate, someone who has been to school for so many years, of a doctor who has had even to incur the school fees, the tuition fees, all the costs. If you look at the pay, what they are being paid vis-a-vis what the members of parliament take, what UPDF takes, I think there is cause for us to stand up and take up arms of votes and change this government. We are looking at opportunity gaps, of course, which is related to nepotism and all that I've talked about. If we go to the health sector, I come from the West here. Those days long ago during Obote's government, was it 11 good hospitals? There was one in Chiriandongo, another one in Abiemu in Karamoja, there was one in now Mbarara or now Ntungamo district, and many other beautiful hospitals. But if you visit those hospitals today, they are in very pathetic situations, and therefore we want a health system that is universal to all. In Mbarara here, where there is a regional hospital, there are sections. There are sections where those who have money are treated like this, and they are given their kind of service in the hospital, and then where the other poor ones go. So we want, in that good Uganda, we want to have universal health care. I understand there is a bill that is being mooted in Parliament, but we want to have that one. When we look at transport, those of you who are of my age, but I can see all of you are young people. I traveled in a bus from Kampala to Jinja, which belonged to Uganda company. And those days, students were given, was it called bus warrant or something like that? But the kind of transport we have is not good for Uganda. I know you people out there, the kind of transport systems that there are in there. If you come back to ours here, the roads are very poor, the congestion in the buses, the insecurity. Even when you sit in a bus and are traveling, say, from Bunyoro or from Guru to Kampala, you'll find that when the bus, for instance, gets involved in an accident, nobody will know that anyone of such and such a name was there. So we want a transport system that is good for everyone. We want the railway transport. Of course, you remember the issue of the standard gauge railway. If you go to Kenya today and look at what they have built from Mombasa to Nairobi, and then you come back to Uganda, and yet those days long ago, there used to be railway transport from Kasese up to Rira. I had ever traveled by that train. And the young people today in Uganda, when you tell them that there used to be railway transport, nobody can believe you. So we want a Uganda where transport is good, where it is available, where it is accessible, and where it is equal to all. When you go to education, one of the issues that has been hindering development in Uganda is mismanagement of government institutions. I was looking at the Ministry of Education, for instance. This is an institution that is supposed to be headed by people who are highly educated. But if you find that the minister does not even have the relevant qualification, how then can such a ministry be able to produce the brilliant Ugandans, the brilliant educated Ugandans that Uganda used to have? So we are looking at the Uganda where education and other government institutions are managed by qualified people so that we can get the best out of it. This one applies even to the roads sector. For instance, you find poor roads, people stealing, the materials here and there, building substandard roads and so on.
Sorry, Jolly, you've gone off.
The people who are managing those institutions to do that. Yes?
Oh, you're back on. Thank you. Slightly went off. That's fine. Thank you.
Oh, the internet is off. Is it on again?
Fine, you're on. Thank you. You're on. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Then finally, of course, the most important part of it is the political transition. We are looking at the insecurity that we are going through as people who are on the ground. Of course, anyone found wearing a beret, there was, I don't want to call it a decree, but in the West, people believed because of the kind of...
It's paused again. Sorry, Jolie, we can't hear you.
I've talked of insecurity, I've talked of patronage, of the fear. People are so scared. They are so scared of the regime to an extent that the police, because of their brutality, because of their beliefs, I don't know what else, when one is found, selling a beret, or rather wearing a beret in the Western region, one is arrested and detained. Recently, we had a number of boys and girls who were detained in Kanungu for almost 2 weeks because they had been found, hanging posters and wearing berets in a hotel in Kanungu. The same thing applied to the people who were arrested in Rubirizi. There is this new district as you move to Kasese. For them, they were found selling our party cards, these party cards, which we said just 1,000 to raise money. The police arrested them and they have been in the cells for quite some time. So what am I saying? I'm saying that in the Uganda we deserve, and in the Uganda which we must create, people must be free. People must have, the kind of freedom that they should be able to enjoy security and freedom that will enable them to realize their potential as Ugandans and help to contribute to build a better Uganda. I thank you. Unless there is something I need to say about the situation in the area.
I think if there's anything you want to tell us about, which you haven't touched about what's happening in Western Uganda, indeed you've actually given us a good picture of what's happening. I suppose just before we go to questions, I just wanted to find out, how do you manage to operate, say, in Western Uganda, given those circumstances?
Where there is a will, there is a way. That is my first. Where there is a will, there is a way. And I don't want to echo the words of one wise person, but what I want to tell you, colleagues, is that the wave or the wind of change is already blowing over this country. People are silent, even here in West. Can you imagine? We also have a candidate, even when the nomination fees problem is still there, but we have a candidate from the old man's, village, who is going to contest on our ticket. And previously, those opposition parties, the FDCs and others, they never had. We have councillors, we have people who have been nominated as councillors, as chairpersons of LC3, as chairpersons of LC5. What does that mean? I mean, the wave of change, the wind of change is blowing over Uganda, and therefore it is our duty to come up and harness it. And how do we do it? We have developed a resilience that enables us to overcome. Even when you see that, the police is following the security, ESO, or whatever, you look through your driving mirror and you see them following you, you just pretend you have not seen them, or you encounter them. For instance, here, for me, what I have done, before I opened a new office here, I wrote a letter to the relevant authorities. I introduced the political party. I quoted the constitution, which I always move around with. I'm equipped with the relevant laws. I quoted the constitution and the relevant laws. I took the letter myself, telling everyone that, look here, we have opened the office and it is here to stay. We have started the journey and we are going to walk it. So the moment I did that, now they know. At every meeting they are there saying, hey, there is this woman called Jore Mucha. By the way, who is she? She has started NUP here. So that one has enabled us to overcome. Even as far as as Bunyoro, as Toro and Kigezi, we are there. They do some arrests, but we are pushing on, because as I've rightly said, where there is a will, there is a way. So the situation here is like that. But I wanted to briefly talk about what we have been doing for your consumption. We have gone through two very important exercises. Number one, of course, was to register to register our members. We have these kinds of registers. I'm sure you can see. This is a copy. I brought it here so that I can show it to you, where we write names of the person and so on. So this is a register, and that one is an ongoing exercise. We have registers, and we are, putting in everyone who wants to become our member. We are selling these party cards, which I have already shared with you. We are selling them, and we sell them 1,000 Uganda shillings. And it is amazing because, NRM gives theirs for free, but ours, which we sell, people are scrambling for them. Then number two, because we were late, we didn't participate in the youth and the special interest groups exercise. We didn't, because here in the West especially, information came in late, and it was, it was like secret, and we didn't know, so we didn't participate. But we have ably participated in canvassing for candidates, a number of candidates to stand as councillors, for sub-county councillors, for district councillors, and so far in the region, we have been able to get 2 people who have been nominated, no, 3, because Mbarara City they have nominated the mayor. For Porto City, they have nominated the mayor. Ruchiga district in Kabare, they have nominated chairperson LC5. In Ruampara here, a new district, we also have nominated an LC5 chairman. We have been able to nominate LC3, these sub-mayors, like the mayor of Kawempe. I'm sure most of you are conversant with what is happening in Kampala. So we have nominated Mbarara City South and North. We have already nominated, those are not road, those are just ordinary mayors, like the ones of Kampala, Nakawa, and others. Then in Fort Portal too. So we have been concentrating on that one, and I can proudly stand up and say that despite the mindset about the West not really taking up NUP, we have been able to nominate people almost, I can say 70%. And I pat myself on the chest. So now we have embarked on the members of parliament. We have very, very good representation. But of course, as my colleague talked earlier, I don't know who said that, but somebody talked about nomination fees. But what we are doing here, we are encouraging members, because I am telling my candidates that I want people who are adding value to the party. I am not looking for invalids who cannot even produce, because for somebody to be able to help you, you must be able at least to take a step. And I use an example of a car. When you get up in the morning and you want to drive your car, and you switch on, you must see the battery, the battery working. If it doesn't kuraga, they call it showing kuraga, then it means you can't call people to push you. So we have many candidates who are self-preparing, whom I want us to support. But so far, I have already signed for 15 members of parliament. And some of those are promising to raise their own funds, if only we can give them that push I am talking about. And yet some, about 8 or 10 for them, they are self-managing and they will not need our support. Where I have found some slight challenge is with regard to women members of parliament. The women, the historical part of it, we are the poorest of the poor. We have got to get permission from our husbands and sons, older sons and whoever. So the women are very few. And I want to request you that as we continue to fundraise, let's target to support these ones who have come up boldly despite the challenges which we have, so that we can push them and we have at least some representation of some sort. Otherwise, I think that is all. Unless there are questions, I am happy to have been part of this meeting. Yeah, bye-bye.
I said, Gary, thank you very, very much. I think you've covered a lot in terms of the Uganda we want, not we deserve. I think you've made that very clear. It's what we want, not we deserve. And also you've covered a lot about the work you're doing there, which is very, very good. But I can say I'm of the same generation with you. And what I find really interesting, to summarize all your speech, you're basically saying we need a Uganda which is just pre-Museveni time. That was about it too. And I find that very, very interesting. Because
apparently it was better than what it is today. We have gone back miles.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more in terms of everything. So thank you very much. And I know that Dr. Lena has been patiently waiting. And I know that maybe you've covered some points that she's going to cover. So I don't expect her to repeat on what you've already covered. So Dr. Lena, the floor is yours. If you pick up the gaps and then tell us more about Northern Uganda and specifically West Nile. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this platform. I was so eager. I checked in very early and we had some hiccups. And then when Haman requested us to check back at some point, I couldn't, because now I'm saying of my in-laws. You know, they married off my daughter traditionally yesterday. So I have my goat crying behind me. I'm deep in the village in Terego, but I'm excited to be joining this wonderful conversation about Uganda. Where are we now? Where are we heading? I celebrated 59 to 60 years living in Uganda. Born in West Nile, raised in Northern Uganda. The memories are so sweet until the time of Kaguta. And I'm glad I'm having this conversation deep in the village, from deep in the village, with the people, the realities of the communities. I'm really happy. I'm really excited. Let me start with, where are we as NUP, Northern Uganda? We are now coming to almost 1 month with an office in Gulu, plot 13, Timothy Okwera Road in Peche. We came having submitted a budget, a well thought out budget with activities and some things that are deliverable. Unfortunately, we started on a wrong footing because our dream facilitation was not possible. It was not only, we didn't only have a short shoestring, we didn't have any string. Out of 18 million, we were given 2 million. We needed to pay an office rent. We needed, 10, I think. Anyway, we needed to have an office rent. Originally, we thought of getting a shop, but we got a house. And we are renting that house 700,000 a month, which in other places would go about 3 million plus. Then Spartan and I don't come from Gulu. So we needed to look for accommodation for ourselves. We bent backward. We have a big sister, big brother house, which we entered a week ago, just to minimize. We do not have our own transport, but there's some good Samaritan, a comrade in the struggle, and we have a vehicle which is almost eating half the money. But that's not where I want to start. I don't want to start from the book of Lamentations. I want to start from the Acts of the Apostles. We have a fully fledged secretariat. I don't know how many of you have gone to our Facebook page and interfaced with that secretariat. We have 12 volunteers full-time, and we have the rapid response thematic area. We have mobilization, election management, logistics and procurement. We have media and policy engagement, among others. And we are very gender sensitive. So we have women and also we have men. Then the second milestone, we have fielded candidates for most, if not all elective positions, that is members of parliament and local government councils, we have a lot of hiccup in terms of nomination fees. Others can raise it halfway. I was very, not envious, but I admired my sister, Her Excellency Jole, when you said you actually do not want invalids. I'm surrounded with a number of them, if that is the word we are going to use for them. But very, you know, we were doing a nomination in Gulu, and we needed this candidate to come to Gulu. There's one who rode in the rain from Yumbe because he could not afford to drive. He rode on a motorcycle from Yumbe to Gulu. What level of commitment? There are some things that are priceless. It may not necessarily be the cash. So we have quite a number of them who are running for the very first time. Are you hearing?
Yes,
Somebody's
yes,
in bed. Somebody's in bed.
Can you mute, please, if you have background noise, please? Can you mute? Thank you.
Yeah. So we have to date fielded over 69 candidates for members of parliament. Yes, that's what he said. But that's what my colleague said, that she doesn't need invalids. You know, I was just responding and telling
Sorry,
her.
Lena,
But anyway,
Lena, can I just interrupt you there? I think my understanding of what Jolie said was that not necessarily what she means. The person you're talking about is exactly the kind of people I think she was talking about. Those who can make an effort. She doesn't want those who don't want to make an effort. I think that's my understanding of her.
But that's okay. And two, most of them, those 69 plus, some can afford halfway, but over 40 cannot afford. They can't. They cannot afford. They're first timers. They have a lot of challenges. I have been in the field. I know their realities. They will need, definitely, especially the women candidates, will need full-time support in terms of nomination fee. We have already broken down the realities with names. I think Commissioner Oyeki or Spartan has it. Since I'm deep here in Terego, we can share our realities. What are the extent of the needs? We have done that analysis. And then three, we have embarked on the local production of political mobilization items, like T-shirts, like masks. We posted how we are producing it, the evidence on the Facebook page. But we need also some support in terms of berets. People are crying for berets. Mine is not on my head, not by choice. It was taken, it was grabbed. When I reached Arua, and most of my in-laws and their friends came from Kampala. Arua is almost naked. We don't have posters. We don't. We really don't. So not by choice, but because we could not, we have not embarked on it and we've not had the support. Kampala is painted red. Arua, we hope that by the end of this week, which starts today, we will be able to do that. The demand for the campaign materials, posters, berets. In fact, others have even said we should be giving them red gloves and red stockings if we can't afford the red beret. So my call to action is the red, the beret, the gloves, the posters.
And red shirts.
And of course, T-shirts. Yes, red. And then T-shirts. We need them. Absolutely, we need them. The need is enormous. It's absolutely enormous. And then four, we have constituted all the 15-member committees to the district and constituency levels. We now await to unveil them officially. But our efforts have, in the meantime, all gone to candidate identification, candidate support, analysis of what are their realities, and also kind of due diligence. Are these genuine? Because we have the experience of the NRM fielding candidates and then saying these are NUP, members. We have that, so we have to do a lot of due diligence so that we get the right people. And we have done a lot of very good weeding and in practice. Then we need to go on training of candidates. Many of them are first of the analysis we did before I came. Yeah, we posted it. Many of them are first timers. So how do you even put up a campaign team, the campaign budget, the campaign messaging, and understanding the manifesto and what NUP stands for, NUP values, NUP values, because we even have those members who have gone on the media and they ask what are the values of NUP and they snap. So we need to make sure they are well equipped. Since we are new, I mean a young political organization. So we need training of candidates with regard to our manifesto, which I believe up to now, I haven't seen the complete version, and we would like it to be out very, 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 very fast. We have embarked also on unveiling candidates very strategically, where one candidate or two who unveil the message becomes a political pandemic. And one such example was the candidate that we raised for Aru. When we unveiled him, it became a political pandemic with massive impact. So we need to do those very strategically to pass messages. So that is the update from Gulu. We are on the move, and the sub-regional offices are also being, opened. Tomorrow I'll be in Arua town. I'll be able to see how far, because I were able to look at the office that was identified, and we hope the state will not again try to go and obstruct that. Then Lango is also very operational. We still have issues with Karamoja. I think right now Commissioner Yeki should be in Karamoja region, because they were asking for Karamoja to 2 sub-regions, which is a bit risky. So he has gone to reconcile that. I'll follow that up, and I'll post an update about it. And we have a lot of enthusiasm on the ground. The community are just saying, we're sick and tired. You people, can you help us to remove this man? That gives us hope. That gives us a lot of hope. Matters the NRM, the ruling party, the government itself, with all its militarization and monetization, is on an invisibility agenda. All our candidates, especially in Karamoja, and also some in Kitgum, their pictures, their posters were being pulled down. Even the one of the principal was being pulled down, including here in Arua. So we need to make sure that we are able to devise a means not only to wait and take them after they are removed, but also to prevent. We are going to have engagements with the RDCs, with the police leadership at the district level and at individual levels, so that we strip them as human beings, as citizens of Uganda, before being the police members of the police force or officers. Well, rule of law in Uganda, now I don't see it, my brothers and sisters. I see and experience rule by law. I see and experience rule by law because as still a practicing lawyer and a judicial officer, there's a lot of disparity. My colleagues do confess, sometimes share with me. The first thing when you are appointed, there's a negotiation. Are you going to be on our side? By the way, there's a polarization of justice, delivery of justice. I'm telling you, they did that with me. 2017, I was nominated as a Court of Appeal judge. I will send 3 prominent retired judges. I'll reserve their name, but I'll inbox you. Please, can you stop being radical and stubborn and big-headed? Those are the words, not my words. So that you're on our side. Then I said, for me, I'm an independent justice practicing person. I'm not going to sell my soul. I want to go to heaven. So I'm not going to start negotiating with you guys and accepting anything. So my name was pulled off because they knew I would not be in it for exercising rule by law. Rule of law disappeared. It is now rule by law enforced by military, interpreted by our infamous LDUs. Red beret is a crime. Anything red is a crime. Yesterday, my own biological daughters, I'm just giving that as an example, was, she works with Uganda Revenue Service. So her introduction yesterday had a whole commissioner travel to this village where I'm seated, and then messages, we don't want to see red, there should be no speeches. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? They are dictating on my daughter. I pushed. Eh? That is how far the rule by law has gone to our bedrooms to dictate. My dress was red. I will post it. I will post it. So rule by law and divide and rule. Divide and rule internally, externally. Pitch Jolly against Lina. Pitch Komaket against both of them. And it is being done with impunity. They sent people you sometimes go to pray together with, and they start negotiating. There's a negotiation right now going on about me. And I think it now is about, not about, the latest one I had was 10 billion. And if I don't take it, they will intimidate me and so on. So that is the militarization, the rule by law that I am talking about. And it has just come with this regime. I never saw it. I've been a judicial for a long time. I had my independence of the judiciary as a judicial officer. There is no independence of the judiciary. The appointments, the cases that are handled, when they know you, Jolly, you are independent minded, and there's a case that they have a lot of interest in, they will transfer you and post me, who can easily be intimidated or bought or militarized. So it is very massive. It is very rampant. It has gone to the core of any confidence any Ugandan had in a society, in a country that you would be proud to belong to. And we must address it. We're not going to hide our heads in the sand. We will not. We must face it. We must document these realities. We must speak to these forces about it and condemn it. Two, the legal foundation. Which legal foundation? I like working with the foundation, with the constitution, but the constitution is always abrogated in terms of appointment, in terms of, the worst time in Uganda is when they are supposed to be very civic appointment. Civic engagement has died. There are three things that are reigning: militarization, monetization, 10 billion and 3 vehicles, and then a big office. Okay? Materialization, transactional engagement and appointment. And then there's also the sexization, sex for favors in the political appointment is real. It is real. So the moral decay has gone to a level I would not have ever imagined in my life, some 20 years back. And it is something we must work day and night to end, to prevent, so that we have a Uganda where our grandchildren are going to be proud of. We will not only have to be telling them by the fireplace that, you know, there was safety and security. I used to walk from this village to the other one. Nobody would stop me. But they will live that reality. How do we do it? I want to end. We must end impunity. Even within our organization, within NOOP, there should be no excuse at all because I was with the principal in jail. I have suffered, so I can get away with the impunity. No way. No way. That must end. It's not a reward. It's a duty we owe. We hold this country, the safety, security, and full and equal participation and human dignity, which has now been so degenerated. We owe it in a trust for the next generation. And NOOP, the communities in northern Uganda rely on you. They rely on every comrade present here, listening, that yes, it is only NOOP that can do it. And they have evidence how the others can fail and have failed the communities. Please, let's not let down that hope, that small candle left as a commitment to our people. We should start mapping how we are going to end this impunity. I heard the disciplinary committee, and it must be decentralized. We must be also held accountable. We must be called to books. How far have you handled some cases? 2, we need to institutionalize all our activities. Appointments should never be a favor because I was sent by principal or I am the son of the deputy principal doctor. We have to adhere to the principles of fairness, of qualification, of inclusion, and the dreams of every Ugandan. We must stop waving, oh, this one is a Muganda, this one is a Nacholi, oh, with this one. No, we are beyond numbers and we are beyond tribes and we are beyond religion. We must deliver. 3, we must document our realities deliberately and start measuring ourselves now. We do not have to wait for 2021. And we should never think of 2021 as an end. 2021 is another milestone. We are thinking short term. We must start thinking holistically.
Yeah.
What is our doctrine of change as NOOP? Our doctrine of change and political participation is well stipulated in our founding document, which up to today is still a draft. It's so beautiful. Social democratic. Social, pro-people, human, Ubuntu, Dano, Bada. That is what should be at the core of our key activities. I want to end by saying that unless we put human dignity, human identity beyond the religion, beyond the tribe, beyond education, beyond, in fact, I don't even want to be called doctor. I just want to be called Lena. And also we acknowledge it's not one person's journey. It's not one person's struggle. It's all our struggle. And last week, I end by saying, when I was interviewed in Gulu, in my office, they said, hey, you're in opposition, DP is in opposition. And I proudly said, we NOOP are not in opposition. We are in the struggle. And the struggle is for all of us, without any exclusion. We have the support of the people, and we have the hope of the people. We have the trust of the people, and we have the wave of change. Let's ride on it. Thank you very much.
Wow. what can I say? It's just absolutely, I think I'm actually lost for words for the first time because I think I've got a lot of words always, but I think that is fantastic what you've just sort of brought in. And what really sticks to me is you're, again, it's the same theme as what Jolly was saying, is sort of bringing what used to happen to what happened after 70 or from 70 on. I think it's really sad because this is a man who went out to say he was fighting for good governance, for this, and ironically now we have a system which is worse 100 times from what you're explaining, worse than what we had. And it's almost like we're going full circle and then back to the past position. So I think you've really summed it up, and with your experience and knowledge and skills, we are very sure that indeed, both of you, what you've said leaves us very confident about the future of the party and indeed the country. I think the other thing that obviously we talked about the candidate fees. Just again, I'll go back and emphasize what I understood from what Jolie said, is that we need people who are also trying, not the ones who are just sitting down and, sort of saying, let this happen. So like the man you said rode from there, that's the typical example whereby, straight away, he deserves to be supported because you know that he doesn't have the means to do it, but he's trying to do it. But if you have someone who's sitting down and doing nothing, then obviously you help yourself, then we'll help you. I think that is what I've taken out of this. And in terms of mobilization, again, I think sort of taking from both of you, you're doing an excellent work in very difficult circumstances that as a diaspora, we can only applaud you and thank you so, so much for your time, sacrifice, and indeed, much as we are part of the struggle. I probably think you're doing a lot because you're day in, day out, you're being followed by people, and it's so real. For us, it's like, yes, it's real, but it's a bit distant. So thank you very much for that. I think it's been a very good session. And just before I hand over to, I'm going to hand over to Grace to introduce two people who unfortunately have had the experience of the brutality we're talking about from this regime. So Grace is going to introduce them and hopefully they can speak to us. And I've also had a lot of people commenting that, why don't we have Luganda? Just to say, we always have Luganda, for the change, let's have English today. So I'll hand over to Grace to introduce the two gentlemen. Thank you, Grace, over to you.
Thank you so much, Comrade Ekakoro. And I thank you, the previous speakers, for that, those inspiring words, and hearing you from the field and the passion that you bring to this audience is so impeccable. We thank you so, so much. I now want to go provide us with a little variation in our discussion. We have two gentlemen that are here with us to share their own experiences, maybe 5 minutes each, to kind of bring to face, bring out some of the experiences of Ugandans, of us, but especially those that are in our home country. I want to find their names, and I would ask that when I call your name, I would ask that you unmute yourself and then give us your presentation. I think you had, probably they would have had a video, but I don't think that information will be aired in the manner that they'd hoped. And so I'm gonna ask Comrade Mark Mugerwa. Comrade Mark Mugerwa, if you can hear me, would you please unmute yourself?
Yes.
Yes, Comrade Mark Mugerwa. Comrade Mark, and ladies and gentlemen, we have Comrade Mark Mugerwa. He is going to speak to us in Luganda because that is his preferred language to communicate in. And I hope that we give him a space to communicate. And let me just, give me one second, make sure. Yeah, so I think your video may not be be aired now, but maybe briefly you can just talk to us if that's okay. So Mwami Mugerwa tusanyusa okuwuliza weebale kugumiikiriza kubeera naffe. Tusaba oyitemu mangu mu mboozi yo gye wabadde otadde ku video tusobole
Wala takusanyusa omuteddeku katunzi Ryan oli katunzi
ono Mwami Mugerwa
kwendi
kale sebo genda mu maaso.
Neyanziza balamusizaako mwenna abali kwenye platform wamu ne bannayuganda. Amanya Peter Mugerwa Mark, also known as Ghetto Speaker, abasinga lye bamanyi naddala bannaffe bwe tuwangalira mu ghetto. I'm very happy okuba nga mukyaziza kweno platform. Nze nno ndi mwana nzaalwa ye Kawempe nga omulimu gwange ndi nkola bwa plumber. Nze nno ensonga yange enkulu okwogereza ku ekyo kuba omulamwa gwe tubadde twogerako ennaku z'omwezi ga 26 August twali tuli ne mukama wange muganda waffe His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu nga tuva mu kooti Mbale twasanga road block nga tuyingira Kasangati sawa zaali 7. Twasanga road block nga police ne UPDF n'aba
nga mulaya afumye ali mu yazirese wano.
Okay, Mr. Muganga, please mute yourself. Mwami Mugerwa nsaba oyongeze ku ddoboozi lyo ate nkujjukize ntoli katano okutuyitira mu presentation yo. Webale nnyo ssebo.
Twali tuli ne president nga tuva Mbale mu kooti yaffe. Twasanga road block, twasanga UPDF police n'aba LDS babukubo nga batukubira okuyita e Kampala oba okuyingira ekyo kyali kikulembera DPC w'e Kasangati omwami gwe bayita Aguma n'ateekawo embeera y'okuba nti atulemesa okuyingira oba nga atulemesa okugenda wa gye twali tulaze. Twagezaako nnyo okulaba nga twogerezeganya nabo nga abantu nga tubuuza DPC nti nsonga ki etulemeseza okututa tugende wa gye tulaga. Nze kennyini ali mu maaso gammwe ndowooza mwalaba obutambi obwatambula nga DPC ne gurupu ye bankubye rubber bullet mu kamwa. Twagezaako okwogerezeganya nabo naddala nze kennyini nga mubuuza nti nsonga ki etulemeseza oba emulemeseza okumuta agende ewuwe. Ne mubuuza nti owange kyogamba gwe DPC w'e Kasangati tokimanyi nti omubaka wamwe abatwala wano ekyaddondo Bobi Wine asula eno Kasangati, asula mweno constituency ennyini gy'omuganye okuyingiramu. DPC ne ttiimu ye batulemesa era baagaana okuwulira ebyo bye twali tubagamba. Mu buufu bwe bumu ne batandika okuba tear gas nga bw'eri enkola yaabwe eya bulijjo, ne bakuba tear gas ne bakuba zi live bullets okkakkana nga bankubye essasi mu kamwa. Mu mbeera ng'eyo okuva August nga 26 obulamu bwadda emabega ng'era bwe mumanyi bulijjo, ate essasi si kintu ekyangu ekyokugeranyizibwako. Obulamu bwadda emabega, family, ebyemirimu, ng'era bwe mumanyi nti embeera y'obulwadde bw'ebeera. Abaana bange, bazadde bange nga bwe mumanyi nti ffe tuyimirizawo family zaffe, twagezaako nnyo okulaba nga tutwala police oba nga tutwala oyo DPC yennyini mu mbuga z'amateeka, naye olw'okuba nti eggwanga lyaffe era ku olwo lwe twategeera nti Uganda waliwo abantu abali above the law, tetwafuna bwenkanya n'essaawa ya leero ndi mu kupooca na biwundu. Weewaawo ngenda nfunawo enjawulo, simanyi oba vidiyo esobola obbalaga ki ekiri wano n'amannyo baagasiba busibi n'omukono guno bagulongoosezza jjo, mwayingiramu akanaakani ka kanisita. So mu mbeera ng'eyo bwe ntyo obuzibu bwe bwantuukako nga buntuusibwako Uganda Police nga bakulembeddwa DPC omulamba ow'e Kasangati Afande Aguma. Naye mu bufu bwe bumu nasigala nkyali ku mission era nasigala nkyalina ebiruubirirwa era nasigala nga ndi focused era ndi focused olw'eyo mission gye natandika, kubanga tukimanyi bulungi nnyo nti yeyo embeera gye tulina okuyitamu okulaba nga tufuna change. Wabula baganda baffe manyi bulungi nnyo nti eriyo abatulaba ku platforms ez'enjawulo, musigale nga muli focused, musigale nga muli solid. One day we shall overcome. Weewaawo tuyita mu mbeera ey'okusomoozebwa, tuyita mu bulumi obw'enjawulo, naye bino byonna ebitutuusibwako one day we shall overcome. Mumpadde eddakiika ntono nnyo naye ebyokunnyonnyola nina bingi nnyo, naye kankomaawo, nsigadde ndi ghetto speaker for God and my country. Neyanza.
Thank you.
Several ghetto speaker weebale kutuwa mukisa kukuwulira ku story kimbuze mu Luganda, musonyiwe nange Oluganda lunkyankalanyeeko katono naye nga ndi mukyala Muganda. Tweyanzizza okutuwa obudde, weebale nnyo, weebalire ddala n'okuleeta ekifaananyi ekyabo bannaffe abali eyo abatambula mu mbeera ey'okutiisibwatiisibwa buli kaseera ate nga muli ku mulimu ogutugasa ffenna. So thank you so much. We can't thank you enough. Twafunye omukisa okuba nti osobola otwegattako mu ngeri y'emu. So I would want to also invite now.
Madam Chair, can you just, Madam Chair,
summarize?
Would be nice if you summarize in English, just in a few sentences, what he said, because.
Okay, for your sake, I'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
For Mr. Ikakuru's sake, I'll do that. But Mr. The ghetto speaker said briefly that he, on August 26th, he was coming from Bale and was brutally attacked and shot by a rubber bullet. There was tear gas involved, but more so that these crimes were instigated by the police themselves, and the DPC in particular, they hold him responsible. So they have tried to seek justice since then and have failed, and yet he has suffered severe injuries as a result, which have impacted his well-being, not only him as an individual, but that of his family and his health. He was traveling with Honorable Chagulanyi in one of those Mbale associated issues that were being handled in August, on August 26th. He concluded by stating that even as the situation is that dire, he's still nursing his injuries, that his spirit wasn't broken. He's still holding steadfast, and he understands that some of that is some of the price that people have to pay, and continues to encourage us that he's holding on firmly, committed to the struggle, and wished us very well. He mentioned that he had more to share, but because of the time not permitting, he was ending his presentation there. So thank you so much again, the ghetto speaker, Mr. Mark Mugera. So I would like to transition to Mr. Kavuma. Mr. Kavuma similarly is going to give us a little bit of his experience, again, sharing with us live on Zoom. I hope he is, Mr. Kavuma, I hope you can hear me and unmute. Similarly, he will also be talking in Luganda, and I see that Comrade Ntambi has also been doing some translation in the chat room. So thank you so much, Mr. Kavuma. If you can hear me, please unmute and then start talking. So Mwami Kavuma, tukusanyukidde, webale okutuwa omukisa okubeerako naffe. Tumanyi obudde bugenze naye nga otuwadde omukisa okuyigirako okusinziira ku mboozi yo gy'oyinza otuwa. Naawe tujja kuwa eddakiika 5 mu bwangu otuyitiremu ku mbeera yo n'engeri gy'obadde mu struggle. So Mwami Kavuma, woba oli unmute.
Bannange mwenna abali ku platform wano, neyanziza omukisa guno gwe mumpadde okwogerako mu maaso gammwe. Proud Hooligan aka Legend. Nsibuka Wakiso. Ennaku z'omwezi nga 26 ogw'omunaana 2020 twali ku kooti, High Court Mbale. Twali tugenze ku misango gya Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, our president, gye yawaabira poliisi okumugaana okugenda ku radios ne TV okwogererako, ate nga tuli mu campaigns eziyitibwa scientific. Munnange we tutuuka ku kooti tebaatulwisa, baatutandikirawo okutukuba tiya gaasi. Mu kutukuba tiya gaasi nga tuyimiridde ku mmotoka ya Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, bankuba tiya gaasi mu magulu obwo obuntu obucupa obwo. Omusajja yakasuka n'akasuka nga bw'atukuba mu magulu, then omukanga bwe gwambuka bwe buti ne gutuuka ne gunyingira amawuggwe ne geesiba, ne mba nga sikyassa bulungi. Tuba tukyali awo munnange, oluvannyuma ne bankuba kanisita ya tiya gaasi ku lubuto, n'enjokya t-shirt wano neeyitamu, n'enjokya olubuto ne lutandika okubulidinga omusaayi nga mungi. Olubuto mu kubulidinga omusaayi nga mungi, nali seesobola bulungi, bansitula ne bantwala mu ddwaliro. Mu kuntwala mu ddwaliro lyali lya gavumenti, naye we twatuuka mu ddwaliro bwe tuti, munnange omukyala eyali omusawo alina okunkolako yansabirawo ssente, yaŋŋamba nga sinnakolako kintu kirala kyonna, sooka oteeke wano $50,000. Nakwata $50,000 ne njiwa omusawo. Naye we muwa $50,000 ate munnange teyantandikirawo kunkolako, wabula oluvannyuma lw'okumusaako pressure nnyingi n'abo abaali bantutte, yajja n'ankolako, wabula alabika yankolako mu busungu. Yankuba empiso 5 mu musuwa omulundi gumu. Bwe yankuba empiso ezo 5, anyway nafunawo enjawulo, naye ng'amaaso gano tegalaba bulungi. Engeri gye bankuba paper spray mu maaso gano, ne banninnyalinya mu lubuto, ne banninnyalinya eno mu mugongo, baalinga abaagala okunzita. Ne bankuba paper spray, kati paper spray oyo ng'ali mu maaso ng'alinga kamulali, nga sirina kye nsobola kukola wadde nga siraba bulungi, wabula mukunzijanjaba nali ndabamu akatonotono. Omukazi we yankuba empiso ezo 5, munnange omusuwa ogwo gwe baakubamu eddagala gwazimba nakati gunnuma. So nva mu ddwaliro, ngenda okuwulira ng'ate baŋŋamba nti jjajja ate olwawulidde ku ebyo ye yazirikiddewo. Ne ngenda okulaba ate nga tufunye buzibu bulala. So bwe nva mu ddwaliro, emirimu gyange ne gikyankalana, kuba namala omwezi mulamba nga ndi mu bujjanjabi, banzijanjaba, obusente obutono bwonna bwe nalinawo ne buggwawo, ne neewola n'okwewola munnaaye. Kaakati mikwano gyange munnange egimu ne ginkyawa egyali gimpoze olw'ensonga nti ne ssente zambula ezibaddiza. Limited nga nkolanga advisor, olumu nga nkolanga painter, kubanga twakolanga painting, wall branding, printing awo ku Nassa Road. Naye munnange omulimu saddamu gufuna olw'ensonga namala ebbanga ddene nga sizze ku mulimu. Nayina abantu bendabirira, abantu 3, nga mulimu maama wange sister wange ne brother. Sister wange ne brother nali mbaweerera, naye munnange olw'ensonga nti ssente natuuka nga sikyakola, sikyalina busobozi bukola, n'omulimu nga sigulina, munnange emisomo gyagaana era gyakomaawo, era kati embeera eriwo yakweyiiya bweyiiya. Naye nasigala ndi mugumugana amaaso nga we mugalaba, nyinza okuggyako wano Gaalubindi ne mugalaba go mamyufu, gaamyuka we mba musobola okugalaba obulungi. Gaamyuka kati light tegasobola light. So buli wembeera ne light ennyingi amaaso gaba tegalaba bulungi, gabaako olufu olwa tear gas oyo gwe bankuba. Wabula oyo pepper spray gwe bankuba yanjubula face eno yonna, neeyubuka amaliba nensigala kati mulimu ebizigira mu face muno bw'oba ontunuulidde bulungi nonneetegereza. Naye nga obwo obulabe bwonna bwantuusibwako eri poliisi ya Uganda, Ugandan Police ye yakintuusaako ekyo kyonna. So nga mmaliriza nga mbagamba olw'akadde akatono ke mumpadde, ebyo bye nsobola obbanyumizaako ebitonotono in brief. Naye baganda bange mwenna abali ku mukutu guno, abali ku live abatulaba, musigale nga muli bagumu, musigale nga muli solid. Kyembakubiriza nti musigale ku mission, nti wano we tuli wano tuli nti tukuza Independence Day, naye wano tetubangawo na bwetwaze mu Uganda, tetubangawo na bwetwaze. Tuli bannayuganda naye tulinga ba refugee, batuyisa ng'emmomboze ku nsi yaffe. So nsigala nga mbakubiriza nti mubeere bagumu, musigale ku mission. 2021 Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu is our next president. Independence tujja gifuna nga Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ayingidde obukulembeze bwa Uganda, wabula pannaawo tetulinawo independence. Neyanziza akakisa kammwe kano bannange okunkyazaako ku platform yammwe.
People power.
Our power.
NUP.
Everywhere. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Kawuma, for your presentation. Again, for those that were following in the chat, Comrade Karim Tambi was trying to provide some translation. It's about the same experiencing police brutality to an individual where the country should be responsible in protecting and ensuring his safety, and then working through systems of healthcare, in this case, where he sought medical attention, and the kind of medical care he received actually exacerbated his condition. He still survived with several injuries, but says that his spirit is still strong. He concluded by mentioning that in Uganda, we have not really had independence, and that the independence we are seeking for will likely happen after the change of this regime to post-Museveni government with Honorable Kyagulanyi as president. So we thank you so much again for your time, both Mr. Mugerwa and Mr. Kavuma. Thank you so much. There was a question here about how can we work to support foot soldiers that are dealing with these kinds of issues and then I think there's some commentary that's going on in the chat. So I just wanted to pass that on. Now we want to use a few minutes to transition to our last part of our engagement. And thank you so much, those who have been on since we started, to the next moderator, Miss Rebecca Nava. Please lead us through the question and answer format. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Comrade Grace Chiboneka. I welcome you all to this next session, and this will be the FAQs or Q&As. I'm called Nava Rebecca. I'm based in the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and I'm the NUP or People Power Coordinator. And I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Grace, Peter, for moderating the first two sessions, and of course, our panelists. Dr. Lina and Miss Jolie. It was a pleasure to have you. And we constrained with time, so I'll go straight to the questions. The first question goes to the two panelists, and we were asking, let's take ourselves in February 2021, and they announced His Excellency Sentamo Kyagulanyi is the President of the Republic of Uganda. What do we expect as a NUP? What will be the first fixes that will be done in the first 100 days? On to you, Honorable Jolie Mugisha, I can see you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That is a very, very beautiful question. Actually, it is a whistleblower. We have a manifesto which is still in the making, and I believe that once the president is sworn in, we shall be able to embark on executing that manifesto. But we have core governance issues which we shall follow as a new government. And among these, I'm going to read quickly, is we shall look at national unity and reconciliation. That is an area that will be very necessary, bearing in mind that we are in diversity under many political parties, and then the ruling government and all the atrocities they have done. We shall embark on building a Uganda that is dynamic, mixed economy with strong and social conscious. We shall look at human rights in the first 100 days to ensure that there is security for all and that human rights are observed. We shall look at the governing institutions, the governing institutions of government, and we shall strengthen them in the first 100 days as soon as our president takes over power. And then, of course, we shall look at security. You're not hearing me?
No, go ahead. Someone just introduced.
Okay. Then we shall look at the security of persons and their property. I think those are the core key areas which we shall look at in the very first 100 days of taking power. Other areas of course, we shall bear in mind that we have to be gender responsive in whatever we shall be doing. And, we shall have everybody on board without discrimination. Thank you.
Thank you so much. On to Dr. Lina. Do you have any compliments, submissions about that question?
Yes, thank you so much. And that question is a prophecy. It's definitely going to happen. There's no doubt about that.
You
Come
take it in the name of
2021,
Jesus.
we are sworn in. Our president is sworn in. Amen. Yeah. I want to agree with my sister Jolie entirely, but also looking at the issue which is dividing us so much now is the unaddressed historical injustices. We are going to be looking at a very united, not cosmetic unity, but a real unity beyond. There's this polarization, our polarization, north, south, west, and so on. We're going to be dealing and setting up structures to hold very difficult conversations to demystify this perceived and real exclusion and perceived and real I don't want to say but using our ethnic identities as a divide. We are going to be engaged in building walls. I mean building bridges, breaking down the walls, building bridges. We will bring down all those walls of different identities, especially the Muganda identity, the Lugwara identity, the Mudrokolo, and so on, because the foundation of any possible, consistent, sustainable, development and safe space, the Uganda we want, will be led by accepting and celebrating our diversity, whatever it is. 2, we will have to embark on addressing the issue of social exclusion, but specifically the injustices. I was holding some conversations here in Ombachi. People say, but when are they coming to talk? When all we just want is people should enable us space to heal, space to be heard. And the same conversation and demand is going on in northern Uganda with the women, in eastern Uganda, in Teso. Communities are yearning for a genuine apology to say, we are sorry we let you down. We are sorry we killed your people. We are sorry we raped your women. We are sorry we called you all kinds of names. People would like us to start from that word and platform. That we are definitely going to do. And it will help us to heal very fast. Then too, we are going to also embark on a deliberate revamping of institutionalization, whether it's the justice system, but for us, we'll also look at it holistically. The key institutions, education, which has totally been killed. And our education strategies is premised on 3 A's: athletics, arts, and academics. The first 100 days, we are going to be making sure we roll out that strategy. It is powerful. It is inclusive. And we're also going to embark on making sure that communication is for everybody. We will communicate transparently and we will operate in utmost good faith. How are we going to do this? We are going to ensure that we will listen. The first how many days, we will also listen. What do the communities want? Where are they hurting most? We are going to make sure the governance is going to be premised on the bottom-up communication, advice, governance, and then the up-down will.
I think we're losing Dr. Ali now.
Be listening.
Okay.
And then ensuring that we also, revamp the institutions that work with, that have the confidence of the people. Cultural institutions, religious institutions, is different institutions, because people are totally shut down. We are first going to let them talk. People are going to talk, my sisters and my brothers. So we, including us, by the way, they are going to be talking to us. We will need to listen, and we have to prepare for that. Whatever our citizens have in their heart, the first 100 days, we must listen, we must document, they will be giving us the real solutions. How do we move forward? But with education, definitely they're buying the 3 A's: academics, athletics, and talent. That is art. Then finally, spiritually, we are totally decayed, by the way. The suicide levels here so high. A young handsome man hangs himself. People do not know. Exactly. So we are going to be making sure that we address people's health holistically. The mental health will be at the core. We will use the 4H, the head mindset. We will address these issues. Set up institutions that will be doing, the conversations and listening and documentation. The second H is the hands, skills, looking at what traditional are in place, what is the status quo. Because that is the time for us to put a governance thermometer and say, how high is this fever? we are talking about today. And then the third is the heart. People, we need to restore confidence. We need to restore and accept and celebrate that you are human. I am human. We work together. You are because I am. Since I am, therefore we are. Okay? We must get out of that compartment. For us, because we are social democrats, we thrive deliberately on humanity, on Ubuntu, on the people. No. Okay? Then finally, we are going to make sure the journey of governance next is inclusive. We're not going to dictate it. We already have the regional settings. What are the aspirations right now that we can document and learn from the West? What is working in the West? What is working in the North? In fact, I'm giving a sneak peek of my governance strategy right now. Many of my advisors are from the West. Many of them are from Uganda. Many of them are from the East. Much as the issues we're discussing are in respect to how do we mobilize in Northern Uganda. Okay? Deliberately, let the West have a say in what we're doing in Northern Uganda. Let the South have a say in what we're doing in Northern Uganda. Let the East have a say in what we're doing in Uganda. Let the diaspora link us and say what works in the context of the global reality for Northern Uganda. Let's document this. And we are going to come up with a strategy that will not only make us take off, we are going to fly. I thank you.
Thank you so much for those words, Dr. Lina. And for my team, Doreen with YouTube, could you help me send the questions that may be coming in? Peter on Twitter, then Grace JB on Facebook, and Grace on Zoom. Please keep those questions coming. And there is one thing that both of you have commented on, and that's it. That's unity. And we had a question in the Zoom session. One participant asked, what does NOP intend to do to unite the other political parties, especially the ones in the opposition? Because it started off as People Power, a pressure group, and then it transformed into a political party. So what are the ways, what methods or modes is not going to use to unify the opposition in case they go to power?
Good.
I go first.
Yeah, Jolly first.
Going first. All right.
Yeah, sure.
That one indeed is one of the challenges we are meeting even now as we mobilize and marshal for candidates here and there. There are many people who still who still believe they are people power and they don't want to be identified with NUP as a political party. And we are finding that as a very big hurdle, especially when it comes to the selection of candidates. Those of NUP, of People Power, felt that they had lived longer in the struggle than these ones of NUP, who they say are new, are new in the struggle. So I think we don't have an official position on what the party intends to do, but for us, for me in the region, what we have done is to embark on sensitization. Communication is a very, very important strategy. We are talking, we are sensitizing, we are mobilizing all these people, and we believe that once nominations are over, we shall go back and have these people in workshops, in rallies, in seminars, in communication strategies, so that we can talk and educate them about the importance of having to merge the two. Because for me, what I've been telling them in this region is that People Power, indeed, as you very well know, as a pressure group, which had to have some clothing of some sort that would enable them or would enable us to go on the poll, on the ballot paper. So we shall, do massive training. We shall do massive sensitization, using radios, using all communication forums that we shall be able to get into, to educate people and to unite them. Hopefully they will buy it. Otherwise, we believe that all these campaign materials, which my sister talked about, the pamphlets, the flyers, the radio programs and so on, will be able to come out with information that will be able to educate the people about how the two had to be joined in order to come up with a very strong political party that is going to win an election. To me, I think that's what we can do. I don't know, let my sister add, because we don't have an official position yet.
Yes, thank you so much, moderator, for that dimension of unity, especially for the opposition. We are in the struggle. We have been always looked at as the underprivileged. Hello, there's somebody speaking at the background.
Yeah, can you please mute your mics? Can you mute yourself, please? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. When I was requested to join first the People Power, then we moved to NUP together, that journey. There's still somebody talking at the background and it's disorganizing me.
You
see, it is in Runyakore.
Moderator, can you mute, please?
Hello?
The host can do that.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, we have quite a number of strong, prominent political parties on board. JEMA is on board. UPC, the one of council, I forget his name. He was supposed to have been there. Walubiri is on board. CP is on board. Quite a number of these political parties are on board. That we don't take for granted. It's a step forward. We will continue to hold those very difficult conversations, not with individuals, but with the political parties and the political institutions from a position of power. You know, they would like, I've gone to some of the conversations and they say, now that you're on board, you need to be, specifically the Democratic Party president called me, my former party, called me, now you're on board, we respect that, so we are going to let to direct that you are officially the moderator and the mediator for, we are not going to be released, you know. We have our terms of how we are going to politically engage with these parties, because for them, they started as political parties in opposition. We started as a struggle, bearing the aspirations of the people. We must never lose that. We must never lose what propelled us, what catapulted us into where we are today. We are going to be inclusive and respectful. When I was, one of my induction messages was that, please, however much other parties will speak disrespectfully, abusively, or violently, please do not respond. Ours is peace. Keep quiet if you must attack. That is what I was told. There's been a lot of social media things. I've never responded because I took my induction very, very seriously. So we are going to be very inclusive. We are going to document every step. We're also going to be very cautious, by the way. Very extremely cautious that each of the political parties in opposition or that are coming on board to hold negotiations is coming with utmost good faith. uberime fide. They are not coming in bad faith and taking advantage of our wave of change. Yes, we will engage with them. And as a government then, we will deliberately have a policy of inclusion, of holding honest conversation, deliberately, sustainably, not as an event. We will make it as part of our journey, sustainably. And some of you, I will advise, will be on those teams, on those delegations, not teams, we shall now be in government. So those delegations specifically. And the role of that delegation will be political engagement for other political parties to buy in, to come in, to join us, so that together we are stronger. And then we are also going to make sure that the terms are fair and just, not unjust, not malicious to weaken us. And then we're also going to go to the people. What are they saying? What are the people saying? This is our journey. It's going to be very, very inclusive. And also we'll engage insofar as it will make us stronger. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lina, for that submission. One thing that that you've made a point is about communication, that
Yes.
NOP intends to communicate a lot. And I think that's one thing that we're lacking as a nation. And that's why right now we are in a very sorry state, because there is communication between the different institutions in Uganda. And I can see two people who have questions in the Zoom meeting. Muganga Douglas Katosi, can you unmute yourself and bring on your question? Thank you.
Thank you, moderator. Can you hear me, Nava?
Yes, I can.
I've followed the conversation right from the start. And even within the chat, I was raising a number of major points that have been put out. But what majority of Ugandans agree on is that the situation at hand is not good, and we wish that it changes. But as a citizen on the ground in Uganda and as a member of the National Unity Platform, I am concerned, and I wish to raise a query to those holding positions of authority in the administration of the National Unity Platform, that we need us to have a chance of being free or liberated. Our organizational capacity as a people has to be more powerful than those that are holding us at ransom. And currently, there is a lot to be desired. There are a lot of queries that people raise on the ground, and there isn't clear communication channels to respond to those queries. So I wish to reach out.
Mr. Muganga, I would like to advise that you zero in onto the question so we can have a few more people ask the questions before we close.
My specific question is, how can we efforts? How can we develop a better culture of listening within the NUP to see that we strengthen our organizational capacity? Because if that is not responded to, we can wish for change in 2021, but it can only remain a wish. And that's my concern. But if we strengthen our organizational capacity, then our chances will be very high. So that's my question to those that can help respond to it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muganga. And of course, I'll direct the questions to Dr. Lina and Miss Jolie Mugisha. And could you go ahead? In maybe 2 minutes, each of you, because we constrained with time.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. There are so many frustrations and expectations. The answers have been that we're new. This is our very first time. Okay, I totally agree with you, Mr. Muganga, that there are some individuals consistently and persistently more stronger than organizational position. But I am documenting that. Okay, it's not going in vain. We are documenting that. They may not be aware that it is affecting. But some of it also is perceived. Some, like for me, I'm a very loud person, you know. But the other opportunity we have in the West, Jolie is building a very nice reference governance thing, listening, going to the community, you know. And then Kampala also has a suggestion box. I don't know whether they're listening and reading it and they're giving the feedback. And persistently, there's some, you know, individuals that are coming and there are some answers, but I'm documenting. For me, in northern Uganda, I am 100% sure you can get to Spartan, you can get to Samuel Obedigu. We have put in place an institution that is bigger than me. I am right now not in office, but the office is running so excellently. So we must deliberately strengthen NUP. And we have to set up reference points. And Northern Uganda is one of them. We're doing right now, 1 month, 1 month old, but a very strong entity as an organization, not around Lina, not around Spartan, not around Strike Machine. So we need to learn from that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Donna. Sorry, Dr. Lina. On to you, Ms. Jolie Mogisha. 2 minutes, please, to respond to that question.
Jolie is off. Oh, let me unmute.
Oh, she needs to unmute. Yeah.
Okay, am I on?
Yes. Could you please unmute yourself, Ms. Jolie Mogisha, please?
With me, am I on? Yes. Am I there?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, loud and clear. I'm saying, in addition to what my sister has said, being a baby, a new organization, of course, we are getting many people, whether they are, some of them may not necessarily be committed, but the system we are setting up, the system of leadership, the broad basedness of the party, because you can see we have a good number of people from different areas, and being on the ground, being
Miss Jolie, we're losing you.
down to earth, I think is one of the trainings, the sensitization programs. We have talked about the development of governance institutions. I want to believe that when all that is in place, then we shall be able to overcome. Because definitely we are planning. We are a diversity of people. We are brought from different cultures, from different institutions, from different, all walks of life, different backgrounds. And when we come together, I want to believe that all that diversity, that basket of wisdom will be able to propel us to the next level in our governance of this country as soon as we get to the power in 2021.
Thank you, Ms. Julie Mogisha. On to the next question. Can I?
Goodbye. Good day.
Yeah.
I have a question from a YouTube channel. It was sent through by Mr. Samsam Aziz. And the question refers to what plans NUP has for people who have turned into independents and yet they continue using the symbol of NUP. So he needs to be enlightened what plans are in place to independence. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
I think generally that is a problem that is emerging, because I know that umbrella is our symbol as NUP or NUP as a political party, and therefore anybody who comes independent or who comes because of being aggrieved by as our flag bearers, that one we shall handle administratively. I want to believe that the party has power to write to Electoral Commission to inform them that those people are independents, and they certainly can't nominate them with our symbol, so they have to go with another symbol. But when it comes to mobilization, sensitization, to trying to to remain within the party, we are not going to support them, because we are a family of NUP. We are fielding candidates whom we are going to support as a party. Therefore, the independents will be, unless they are in areas where we don't have candidates. If they are in areas where we have not had candidates of our own, we shall consider them. But where our own candidates, then I think as far as they are concerned, we may not be able to support them.
Thank you so much for that contribution, Ms. Jolly Mogisha. Maybe just to add on, I think after the nominations, we're not only going to spread the gospel of NUP or people power, but we're going to spread the gospel of the umbrella, because they are going to elect symbols. And we are supposed to communicate more with the umbrella than the NUP and people power. Maybe that's when we can segregate ourselves from the other candidates who are coming as independents. And on to the next question.
May I just tip in one example, 1 minute? I
yes.
promise. One example, please. Hello?
Yeah, hello, go ahead.
Yes, in Lango sub-region, I will be going there on Thursday. They have formed what is called the rainbow. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Hello?
Please, could you mute your mic, please? Those who are not talking. Can we have Dr. Lina go ahead?
Yeah. One. Oh, the other person is speaking.
Oh my God. The host...
In Lango sub-region, last week, the candidates themselves with our team on the ground, the sub-region came up with a rainbow entity, and NUP is coordinating it. They are mapping up all the candidates, the real genuine candidates, and those that have already paid. We are definitely, where we have candidates, we are encouraging and we are standing strong as NUP. Umbrella is our symbol. We are standing strong. And then where we have, like in West Nile here, we have a vivid example of one person now picked his form under Gemma. He has been very active and is even on our disciplinary committee. We are definitely going, and we already have another candidate. Our candidate, our flag bearer is the person. And so where somebody has chosen, we will definitely have conversation, but we are going to stand as NUP. We will encourage and support boldly our candidate, as NUP umbrella is our symbol. That one we must preach. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can I have a lady? Ma'am Donna, could you unmute yourself and bring on your question? I can see you, Stephen Birija. I'll come to you.
Mommy, I'm fine.
Good evening, comrades. Good evening, Mama Rina. I'm Mama Donna in Dubai. I have like 2 questions. How are we going to, okay, let me phrase this like this. What are we going to do with those people on the secretariats who are turning back, who are tarnishing our party? Because our party is very young, but those people on the secretariat.
Ma'am Donna, one minute. Sorry for the interruption, but could we keep our questions to our conversation, the topic of today of the Uganda we deserve? If your question is related to that, then go ahead, please, because we're constrained with time.
Okay, let me leave that one. Thank you.
It's okay. We can still answer it. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Because what I wanted, maybe we can have people on secretariat who are not contesting anywhere, so that those people can stand with NUP. But if on secretariat we have people who are working at the offices, at the same time they want to stand somewhere or contesting somewhere, and they did not get the cards, they are again turn around to tarnish our vetting committee. How are we going to do that? How are we going to help our party not to be damaged, not to be tarnished? Another thing, there are those people who are coming independent, but they are using our colors. What are we going to do to stop them using our colors, any color, which is for no? Because there are those who are using our colors saying we are independent, but we support Kyagulanyi. I think there will be bajja kubuzaabuza abantu.
Okay, thank you so much.
We
I think your second question was already asked by the previous participants. So I asked the two panelists to answer the first question that she raised. Thank you, Mama Donna.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mama Donna. I want, first of all, to encourage you people to know that politics is competition. And once there is competition, you must be dressed up to the call for competition. So we are a political party, even when we are as young as we are, but we are in a competitive world. Therefore, we must dress up to the rehearsal. How are we going to stop the people at the secretariat? First of all, a president of any nation needs the support of the legislature. We must have members of parliament who are going, otherwise the president, even if he wins an election, he will be like you have been watching the Lord Mayor of Kampala Lukwago with his committee during the last term. So the president must have a supporting legislature, and therefore we must have members who are indeed our members. That's why there are so many people, there are not even many. Some members at the secretariat are contesting for those positions, and we pray that they win those positions, because once they win and the president wins, then we shall have the Uganda we deserve. Now, your question of how are we going to stop them? We shall continue preaching. We shall continue talking. We have talked about communication. We have talked about sensitization. We have talked about lobbying and support. All those strategies we shall use to ensure that all those who are competing with us or who have sentiments on our side, then that they come and join us in order for us to have a good fight. Otherwise, those challenges are expected, like any other party. We shall marshal through. We shall see how to go around them. Technically, some of them, like we have talked about the secretariat writing to Electoral Commission to stop anybody who is not our flag bearer to use our colors, to use our symbol. And definitely even Electoral Commission, even as much corrupt as they are, they will not be able to give any of our colors and symbols to independent candidates. I thank you and encourage you to keep on even praying for us. As a young party, we don't only need activism, but we also need prayer in form of support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jolie Mogisha, for that. Unfortunately, time is against us, so we're not going to continue with. I'm going to take one question from Stephen Barriger. Unmute, but please go straight to your question because we need to have the closing remarks from our panelists.
Because due to calls, we have to end this meeting. We should.
Yes, sure.
Yes.
Stephen Barriger, one question, and then we have closing remarks from Dr. Alina and Ms. Jolie Mugisha, our deputy principals. Can you unmute yourself, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Stephen Virija. I'm in London. If you follow me, I write quite a lot in defense of people power and NOP. Well, I was the first to write about the Uganda we want when the principal asked us to contribute, and I think it was widely shared. My concern is we seem to be giving conflicting messages to our followers, which is quite absurd. And that lack of clarity brings in confusion. Why don't we use a consultative approach, at least have a policy committee to package information that is very simple, clear, in few points for our followers to follow. For example, NUP is not an ideology. NUP is a vehicle. It cannot conflict with people power. It would be very easy to say we are NUP members and our ideology is people power. And we unpackage the concept of power, people power, what it means. And you find we have a very big problem. If we consulted people about technical people, we would be able to unpack what education is about, what corruption is about, and solutions to those problems, which answer everything. Because I find Uganda's problem is not poverty. Uganda's problem is bad governance. What are the elements of bad governance? So that people can have clear information as we wait for the manifesto. This can save us from post-Museveni crisis, because now we are just bringing people without clear ideas. After removing Museveni from power, we can easily have a crisis. Why don't we have a consultative process like this one now? Would come out with the clear information, share. Jolly would be talking the same thing with Dr. Lina. People wouldn't be saying I'm people power or no. Why don't we have a consultative process in a proactive way instead of waiting for a reaction when we're already in power? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your question. Dr. Lina, could you respond to that, please?
So before she responds, Ms. Nava, perhaps she responds with concluding remarks at the same time, so we can end this, come to a conclusion of this meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, moderator. Thank you so much, each one of you. My sister Jolie, thank you so much. I take home one thing: we need more of this conversation. This conversation that speaks to the reality. It should not be an event for independence of, but it should be structured, and we engage. We engage, we document, and we also have critical take homes to implement in action. There must be call to action out of these conversations. I totally agree. It has been a long time, a long day for each one of you, and some of you it is a long morning. But I want to conclude with the two things. I totally agree with you, my brother in London, that we must have a deliberate committee, policy engagement committee at the national level. We already have one for northern Uganda. We do. They're actually coming up with the key critical issues that we shall be speaking to, and we shall also be consulting. We don't allege, we consult, we document, we research. There must be a lot of research, and aligning it to the regional, to the grassroots, to the regional, to the national, to the international realities of governance. That we need it as of yesterday. 2, building a strong NUP. No more excuse that we are young. No way. We're already out. We are walking. We are running. We must deliberately demystify that we are young and we have it. No more excuses. Where we have faulted, we must learn from those faults and come out to correct those faults very staunchly. 3, there's a policy committee headed by Amanda Serumaga. The membership of this policy committee, we need to see the constitution, we need to see its composition, and we also need it to go out there to you people. Many people think we don't have a policy committee. We do. How does it relate to the regional realities, policy engagement, alternative policies? We must start doing that as of today and tomorrow. We must make those demands. And Johnny, let's take that up with, because we sit on the high command, we must take it. We have to write that these were some of the key outcomes of consistently, by the way. This is not the first time it has been raised. It is very consistent and it must be acted upon, and failure to act upon it, there should be some alternatives. I don't want to say some repercussions, but I mean, in case it is not taken up, as it has been not taken up earlier, what are we recommending as this platform in terms of our call to action for a vibrant, relevant, well-researched, known policy committee? What are the policy frameworks? We need that. We need to give a timeline, and we need to give an ultimatum, by the way. It's time to start speaking and acting tough. So in my conclusion, this has been one of its kind platform. I thank you so much. I've learned a lot. I have learned a lot. I've relearned a lot, and I will reflect on it, especially in terms of implementation in northern Uganda. I would recommend, can we also have region-specific conversations like this, where we have specifically for Eastern region, another one for Western region, another one for Northern region, and it should be consistent and also time bound. Let it be 1 hour, 1 hour. When we don't keep time for one reason or the other, it affects our next participation. It affects your participation. So let us try to do that consistently. So my call is, this has been great. Moderator, can we have another one? Can we have more other people speak, even those from the diaspora speak? Can we have the questions also answered in practice and follow up? I wouldn't want to see those beautiful queries ending up just as a casual conversation. They're a call to action, and let's take that call to action. We are not going to be wanting to be nice and favored. We are going to I would want us to be said, those are difficult, but we bring real practical changes, real practical growth to NUP as a political party, because the wave on the ground, they support. I just want each one of you to experience the support on the ground. We would not even sleep. So I want to thank each one of you so much. May the next Independence Day be celebrated when we are in government and delivering to the aspirations of Ugandans. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, my sister. I'm coming in right now. Just with the conclusion, you have already made the proposals that the meeting should consider, and I want to believe that when we forward them to the executive committee, which we belong, some
in
of them
writing.
Yes, we should submit them in writing so that they can be worked on immediately. I also want to thank the participants to this meeting, the organizers, and all of you who have participated. Thank you very much. Now we have seen that we have support. When I was first invited, I must say, to join NUP, I feared. I had the kind of fear I had is what most people have in Uganda. And now that we have talked to you, personally, I'm renewed, my energy is rekindled, and I want to believe and assure you that beginning, even right now, I'm going to work even harder to ensure that our party takes over government. And then in conclusion, perhaps I want to say that we must work together. For you people who live out there, we know probably your life is better than ours in terms of resource mobilization. Someone was putting on the screen that we should do some fundraising, and I believe you are doing that. The money you are sending to us, I want to assure you that we shall effectively use it for the good of this party, and that once, like our anthem goes, once the battle is over, we shall all stand up and sing and receive the crown. For God and my country, people power, our power. NUP,
our power.
Everywhere.
Please excuse me,
Thank
if you
you,
don't
thank
mind, please, can you join me to sing our anthem? For me, I sing it in Runyankore, Dina sings it in West Nile language, and all of you, I don't know whichever language you have, but we can sing it together and end our meeting because I think it is getting very late, okay? Don't mind goes like
Your
this.
person now singing Langi.
Okay, now each one in his own, her own language. For me, it goes Orugamba.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having this special time. And again, this is Grace Chiboneka from Seattle, Washington. I appreciate you all for participating and showing your enthusiasm, understanding and communicating, as well as recommitting ourselves to the aspirations of Ugandans through the work that we are doing. I would like to thank our panelists for sparing us time again to educate and also inform us on some of the policy issues. I do have a 3.5-year-old now in the background that is getting agitated, so I'm sure this is for us to transition out of this meeting and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. It is morning here. I'm sure it's evening somewhere else in the globe. Thank you again, and I wish to sign off.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your support, Doreen, and all the tech people, Mr. JB, Ms. Doreen, Mr. Ikakuru, and all of our supporters in organizing this Independence Day activity. Thank you again. And we wish to call you upon another time, and always bring your ideas, and let's keep on fundraising and sensitizing and organizing. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Marina, bye.
Hey, everybody. Have a blessed week.
You too.
Thank you, Wanda.
Bye, everybody. Salute. Goodbye. I'm signing off.
Ciao.
Oh, my face one. R-U-E.
Bye.
Oh, my face one. Or English.